Welcome to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Things.
We're back, man. Episode 342.
Yes, sir.
Just to preface before we get going, we got the AC going in the background. So if you hear a little bit of noise, that's what it is. It was scorching hot once again out here. Me and Keith are a little tired, but we're gonna bust our ass to get through this podcast for you guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Recently, the dock workers, the longshoremen, went on a strike. It lasted a few days. That strike just recently ended, and here are the details. Dock workers strike suspended. Tentative agreement includes 62% pay raise over 6 years. All right, so let me bust open that article real quick to give you some more details. A historic United States port strike has been suspended and tentative agreement was reached on wages, according to the International Longshoremen's Association and the U.S. Maritime Alliance. Effective immediately, all current job actions will cease and all work covered by the master contract will resume. The ILA and USMX said in a joint statement Thursday evening, the tentative agreement would increase the workers' wages by 62% over the life of 6-year contract. Sources familiar confirmed to ABC News. This represents a significant increase from the shipping industries group offer of a 50% wage increase. Actually, it got up to 55%, and they denied it. Which is crazy. Increase earlier this week. The union had been pushing for a 77% pay hike over 6 years. The tentative agreement would bring the hourly wage for a top dock worker to $63 per hour at the end of the new contract, up from $39 per hour under expired contract. No, not all docks are the same. Some of these guys are getting paid $90 an hour, $90 to $120 an hour. I'll say this. This is a very nuanced conversation based on the fact that longshoremen are very important, based on the fact that these shipping containers do come off those ships. They're processed and sent off, and they are an essential part of the supply chain. The main guy that was at the union basically said they're at the top of the supply chain, and they're not. That's inaccurate. The top of the supply chain is truck drivers. They once those containers get to the ports, they don't go anywhere without truck drivers taking it all over the country, okay? So, yes, they are an essential part of the supply chain, but they're not the end. I will say that it is important for people to fight for what they feel is fair, and that's what these unions are good for. But it's also true that they're not all good because, truth be told, you went on strike during the time where Hurricane Helene was going on and people needed products and things of that nature, and luckily and thankful that they reached a deal immediately because that could have got nasty. And along the East Coast there, a lot of people would have needed some relief. So I'm glad that they're back working and getting this shit going. But I will say to turn down 55% is crazy. Like, that's crazy. I think they were looking at the overall pie that the company was making. I guess it was a couple $100 billion, which is a lot of fucking money. So they figured they're giving themselves. They found out that one of the head guys over in Europe had given themselves a $4 billion bonus for Christmas last year.
God dang.
Yeah, and I can understand how that might make you feel, right? But like for me, this is just my opinion. This is going to sound very terrible. Of course, I want to get paid fairly. Of course, I want to make a living for my family. But I also believe that there are some things that are simply above my pay grade, and if I don't control that industry, the best thing I could do is find a way to get out. But if you're a part of a union, sometimes you have no choice but to strike. So, yeah.
If you're in the union, then you just kind of follow in with the people that are your representatives.
Your rep.
So
yeah.
I think, and I don't know how theirs work, but from my understanding, a lot of times those people are voted for or appointed by the masses. So if you're, let's say you work at UPS or something like that, and you guys are part of a union, you guys might vote on a president to represent you. As far as like the union that I'm in with the school, there is somebody that we vote for to be like our representative, in those situations. But I think the thing for me is, I understand that, there's real ramifications, like real world ramifications for these things. But I'm generally always on the side of the worker, because I know that, when it comes to, like we're saying, splitting up the pie, these big corporations are the ones that are making, money hand over fist. And I think that, these unions and anybody that happens to be in a union, there's pros and cons to it. Obviously you have to pay certain fees and stuff to be associated with it and whatnot. But there's benefits when it comes to people fighting for the amount of money you get, And
Lawyers.
yeah, you get representation. If you, for me, for example, if something happens at the school, if somebody accuses me of doing something that I didn't do or whatever, any sort of thing, even if I have to talk to, some sort of administration and, it may be about my classroom behavior, whatever the case may be, I can have, representation because of that. So, there are benefits. And then also that, there are people that are fighting for you to actually get, your salary increase, year to year. So these are the benefits of having a union. And I just think that, when it comes to whether it's the ports or UPS or Amazon or, you see people, I've seen people outside of Albertsons telling us not to go in there and buy anything.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything like that. I mean, even I think here at CSUB, at the college here, I think that the teachers had went on strike or the professors had went on strike also. So, I'm all for it. I think that, as long as, they're able to come to an understanding and, it's all negotiations, it's the same. I think for me, what I try not to do is like not really count nobody pockets. Like if it's not affecting me directly in terms of like my way of living, like the same thing, same conversation. Like I hear a lot of, me and Eddie are Niner fans. So I hear a lot of people talking about contracts. Like, oh, you shouldn't have paid Nick Bosa this, or shouldn't have paid Fred Warner this, or Trent Williams this, and all these things. It's like, that's, who am I to say that somebody shouldn't get paid a certain wage, and it's also not my money. You know what I mean? That's the DeBartlos and, all those other wealthy 49er owners. That's their money. You know what I mean? So if that's what they choose to do with it, then that's what they choose to do with it. Yeah. But when it comes to Sunday, like when they get on the field, that's all if they win or lose, that's all I really care about. I don't really care about how much money Deebo Samuels is making compared to other receivers in the league, But same thing with the ports. Like I don't really, I hope everybody get paid. That's where I'm at.
Absolutely, I do. But I think that sometimes you can overestimate your importance within the supply chain or business, and I think that sometimes you got to realize that truck drivers don't have the same convenience that you have. It's not just a union thing. But if truck drivers decided not to drive, people would die. Like literally, there would be so much death spread across the country from drivers not moving product. Like we're very cyclical, so we need products to go to hospitals and food to go to stores and things of that nature. Like during COVID, we needed to move those fucking respirators or whatever they call those things. What they call them?
I don't know.
I forgot. Whatever they call them, the machines that help people with COVID. So we had to move all of those things, and I just think that sometimes people can overestimate their importance. And yes, they're important, but somebody can be trained to do that job. Also, in addition to that, they went on strike, and I think that a lot of it was due to the, fearing their mortality. I think that they understand that there are automated ports, especially out in Long Beach. In Long Beach, those automated ports are more effective than the ones with longshoremen, and that's not an opinion. That is a fact. I have a couple buddies that actually do they're owner-operators, and they exclusively move containers. And basically, when they would go to a automated place, it would take them around 40 minutes to get in and out and get their load. The other spot with the longshoremen, you got to wait on them to go to lunch. Sometimes they're just on their phone and whatever. The other day, my buddy Carlos sent me a video of a longshoreman that had his forks up near the container, but he didn't even pull the container out. He was just sitting there on his phone, and they have their own private security that if you get too close to the longshoreman that's doing their job, they'll tell you to back up. So it's like these unions are good for protecting people, but sometimes within the union, these guys could they could literally just kind of drag their balls at work.
Yeah.
And
but I don't even think that's a union thing. I just think that that's like just terrible like a terrible individual that's just taking advantage of.
That's true, but they have protection. So I think a lot of people that don't have protection, they feel the need to be more productive and move around, and because they know they'll be fucking fired. You know, whereas there's, you know, with the union, you do have a little more protection. Now, it sucks for people to lose their job. I'm not the guy to advocate for people at the longshoremen to lose their job, because we're talking about 800 to 1,000 jobs at a time being lost at these ports. That's a lot of fucking jobs. That's a lot of jobs that's just being eradicated. But here's the thing: this is like the sign of the times. You got to get with the times, because back in the day when they had video stores like Blockbuster, not only was it Blockbuster, but there were stores like mom and pop video shops where they had VHSs in there. Like before VHS, they had Betamax. So those small town like video stores got put out of business by the Blockbusters, by the Video Cities and places like that. So nobody's talking about them. Like throughout time, that's what has happened. As soon as Amazon popped up, that's when Toys R Us went down the fucking toilet. You know, you start seeing places like Sears and Kmart gone. Kmart was massive when I was a kid. They had commercials and everything. They are nowhere to be found. And it's if a business can find a way to automate something or to expedite the process, that means you're without a fucking job, buddy. You know, you better start an OnlyFans or something. You know, like, hey, what's up? I used to be a longshoreman. Now I got long cock. Hey, man. Sucks, man. You may not get that pension you want.
Yeah. The thing about jobs, though, you're right. Because jobs don't necessarily go away.
Right.
Jobs are like what they say, like energy is just it's not lost or whatever.
It's just transfer.
Yeah, just transfer. Same thing with jobs, because when you automate something, it doesn't apply to you. But if you were a computer engineer or somebody that wrote the code for said, you know, operating systems, then you would have a job. So they say, I've heard some statistics say that we are losing jobs, you know, up front, but on the back end, they're creating like
absolutely,
you know, certain amount more jobs.
Absolutely,
so I think that's part of it. So you just, like you say, you got to get with the times. Like, you know, if it doesn't work for you to be working at the port, and I'm not well versed in what it actually looks like or what all jobs go on, but
yes,
you know, you might have to go get your coding certificate so that you
cybersecurity, all
kind
of stuff,
something like that. So yeah, I mean, that's just the way the world moves. So, but I would say also too, the whole automated thing and the AI and I would say two things. I would say one, when it comes to people thought the same thing at these grocery stores or, you know, Target, at Walmart, all these different stores. But you see that there's probably not as many people working cash registers, but they created more work for people in pickup orders and deliveries and stuff like that. So although there's not as many cashiers, there's way more people. There's people that come to work, clock in, and then they just putting bags together for the deliveries, or they putting bags together for the pickup order. So that's one thing. But two, this same sort of thing is happening in pretty much every aspect. You know, I think everybody is kind of having these conversations about their own mortality when it comes to these jobs. You know, even in the entertainment world, you know, there's a lot of conversation around AI when it comes to actors. Like, what is that going to look like? There's a lot of conversations. You can literally, they have things like voiceover AI where, you know, say you're doing a commercial and you need that kind of raspy Southern voice for your car ad or something. All you got to do is record the audio, throw it into the AI software, and then it'll spit back that, you know, that very deep Southern accent, you know, Toyota or, you know, Chevy, one of those guys that it'll throw a voice back at you.
It's no different than Siri, basically.
Yeah. So it's, you know, I say that to say that there are, you know, when they were doing the acting strike, you know, there were people that were trying to have language in that contract, you know, with, in their union, stuff to where basically, they just have a clear understanding of what that looks like for them. Because it very well may be that the voice actors that we grew up on, the guys that we seen doing like voices for the Looney Tunes, and the guy that does just different shows like Boondocks and stuff like that, or Futurama. There's like all those famous actors that we see behind the scenes recording the audio. That may be, coming to an end because of the way the AI is moving, and that's why they're, fighting for that. So it's a crazy world, and I mean, I understand both sides of it. Like, we just got to keep it moving, in terms of that. But I also understand people trying to fight for a job, really,
Absolutely. But nothing will protect you more than foresight. So, for example, you have to be able to see the trends that are happening, because a lot of companies are sometimes 5 to 10 years ahead of their employees. Mm-hmm. So while you're punching the clock at work, they are constantly reimagining their company on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. That 365 days a year, they are reimagining their company, which it's everything goes, whether it's automation or how can we squeeze these jobs together? How can we, train people to learn more jobs so we could fire more people? Like that's literally what's happening. Mm-hmm. So I would say this: if you are afraid of automation, you got to catch it at its first win. So with these guys, they're a little bit behind because they went on strike. They want to stop automation and whatnot, but it's already happening in Long Beach. So the business model is already in place. It's already too late. You can't, whatever, this is about to be a 6-year contract. After these 6 years, you could expect that shit to be, all the ports to be fully automated by then. Mm-hmm. Not only that, let's say you work at McDonald's, right? And then all of a sudden you show up to work and there is literally kiosk all over McDonald's. There's like 20 kiosks all over McDonald's. I think it's safe to say the traditional customer service is out the window. Mm-hmm. Right? They're going to have people going up to that fucking kiosk and punching in their orders, and all they're going to have is 2 to 3 people in the back making burgers. That is what they want to get down to. Then they eventually want to get the people out of the kitchen and get a robot to flip them patties. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing, man. And it's unfortunate, but that's what it is. They have decided that we don't even care about customer service anymore. I remember a time that when you went to McDonald's and you ordered, they used to bring the shit to your table. Mm-hmm. You want to know how much McDonald's don't give a fuck about people? Tell me the last time you seen a McDonald's Playhouse. I'll wait.
Yeah, they don't have those anymore.
Yeah, don't give. They said, fuck them kids. Get these cheeseburgers and get out of here. You ever see the McDonald's that was so fucking big and it still didn't have a Playhouse in it? Mm-hmm. It's like, we just made this shit bigger so we could fit more patties. We don't care about them kids.
Yeah.
It's sad. When I was a kid, we played, oh my God. I'm going to bring back some memories, Keith. Hey, I'm about to bring back some nostalgia for everyone listening. Remember when you used to go to McDonald's and you got done eating your nuggets and shit, and they had a whole play area and you used to jump with all those plastic balls in there?
Yeah.
And it was totally nasty and never clean, but you used to be in there anyways? Mm-hmm. It's like, yo, did McDonald's ever clean that shit?
Nah.
I don't think they ever did.
Did Ronald ever clean his balls?
Probably not. And I think that's where COVID started. Right there with them in the play area with those plastic balls, when you jump in there, I think that's where COVID started. I think that COVID was festering in the McDonald's Playhouse and it fucking came out. That's what happened.
Yeah.
It's called the Grimace 19.
I think the only thing that I would say to push back on that is that, like, only certain jobs have unions associated with them. You know what I mean? So when it comes to, and this, I'm relating a lot of it to like the entertainment world. When it comes to people that work at McDonald's, Burger King, maybe even Starbucks, I don't know if they have some sort of thing there, but when it comes to those type of jobs, they don't have much pull because there's no union that is backing them as a group. But when you have these contracts, you're putting specific language in there, and that's what these people are fighting for. Like, for example, with the acting and stuff like that, they put specific language in there to protect them against artificial intelligence, to protect them against their voice is being used for certain things. You know what I mean? And that's part of, you know, the benefits of being in a union. When you work at McDonald's, there ain't no union. You probably just work on union. Like, that's just you just when you get hired, you sign your contract or whatever. They tell you how much you get paid. There's no negotiation. It ain't like, you know, it's like, this is what you're going to get paid, and this is the starting, you know, salary for this position. And then you sign that, and then, you know, they give you a schedule and they give you a T-shirt, and then you go into work. You know, some of these other things, it's a process. You know, you're paying your dues and all these other things, and that's because somebody is fighting for you and fighting for your rights. You know, whether it's pay raises, whether it's working hours, whether it's, you know, all these different things. And like I said, like for me, when you're working in education, you having it's there's administration, vice principal, you know, people that work at the district, all these things. And then there's, you know, the educators, or the people that are kind of like on the other side. And we have separate, you know, we're separate entities, and they both, sometimes there's clashes. Sometimes there's like, you know, there's conversations about when do we have to be at work. And, you know, when it's a specific time that you have to be there, there's conversations around like how long your breaks have to be. And things like that. So like down to a T. And I'm sure there's going to be a conversation, maybe not now, but within the next 6 or 7 years, about them trying to automate, you know, teaching, maybe like trying to move everything virtually. And it's just going to be a conversation that has to be had. But the benefit of being in it and having, you know, representatives, and like the guy that was fighting, you know, I don't remember his name, but the union representative or the president, the guy that was talking, he was talking big stuff.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I'm sure he was in those rooms talking, you know, greasy to, you know, to the other side. So, but that's the perks of being in a union. So, like I said, I don't know all the details about, you know, how their negotiations went, but just speaking from my knowledge of the acting world and being in education, I know that that's like, it's like, you know, this is what we bring into the table, and then they just come to an agreement somewhere in the middle. But you really only hear from the lower side, if that makes sense. The people that are like up here, they don't really have people talking to the news and stuff like that.
Yeah, they make so much money. They live in another world. I think when they heard about this strike, they were probably in a yacht in the middle of Europe somewhere, like, who are these people? Why do they want money? What who is this? Why are they doing it?
Yeah. Give
them the crumbs. They want crumbs, give them more crumbs. That's fine with me.
I just want to finish my freak off.
I'm just trying to freak off. I have it's too many women, too many Wiener Schnitzels out here. We have to make sure you get Yeah. Oh, here's the thing. Back to the thing I was talking about too with McDonald's. This is why they got rid of the playpen. It said modern McDonald's has gotten rid of children's play areas due to the need to enhance safety and cleanliness protocols for their customers. With the presence of a play area, it can be difficult for the restaurant to ensure that safety and hygiene is present. Ugh. That means they never cleaned it, man.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And it'd be crazy when you jump in that playpen and you feel something wet on your face. Like, it's like the ball, and it's like a bunch of kids slobber, probably shit, piss. Yeah. Oh.
Man.
That's so nasty, man.
Yeah. I got a Target order today, and the bag was just like slimy.
What'd you get?
I don't know. It was something my girl got. But the bag came in like wet and sticky. I was like, I don't know what they was doing back there.
Imagine you before you came in there 10 minutes earlier. Oh, baby. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, oh, get it out of me. Oh, get it out of me. Oh, we got an online order.
That's what I'm thinking happened, because I don't know why that bag felt like that.
Oh, my God, I'm going to fucking go. Keith, your order's ready. You got juice all over that goddamn package.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. Get your money, man. Get your money, but at the same time, it's unfortunate, but you got to find something else to do. You know, the only reason why I'm kind of safe is because they don't trust a robot enough yet to do my job. But
it's coming.
But the moment they do, it's over.
It's coming for
But
sure.
but there's another element to it, Keith. It's not just truck driving. Since I'm a hazmat driver, the robot has to account for the amount of liquid surge that happens. So if they can find a robot or program that understands how liquid surge works, then I'll be out of a job. Because the thing about it is I'm hauling, 8,700 or 8,000 gallons of fuel. And if there is any issues with that system, that is not what you want barreling down the road. A robot that, battery overload, and it's going down.
Yeah, it's gonna be some casualties. That's just the nature of technology. But yeah, I don't think any. Once they started doing voice, once they started doing AI voice, once they started doing like AI people talking, like when you seeing actors or they're not even real people. It's just like their mouth is moving and they're like, welcome to such and such technology company and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, once they reach that level, no job is safe then. Because all this other stuff is already stuff that we've seen automated years ago. You know what I mean? There's been, you see they're automating like janitorial jobs. They have the Teslas are already driving by themselves, So once we seeing these things going on, like I don't know any job that can't be automated at this point in time. Like I said, even in education, if it was a thing to where students, all they had to do was the only thing that would prevent education from something like that from happening is the classroom management stuff. Like you need security, you need you need eyes on students. But, when it comes to like the actual teaching, you can do all of that stuff. Like you got self-paced courses. You know what I mean? Like everything is, everybody's out of here.
The scariest thing is this, and this is the one that makes no one fucking safe. Okay, and I've seen this recently. People are using Google Study software to make AI podcasts, and they're weird and amazing. It says, all right, so today we're going to dive deep into some cutting-edge tech, a chatty American male voice, but this voice does not belong to a human. It belongs to Google's new AI podcasting tool called Audio Overview, which has become a surprise viral hit. The podcasting feature was launched in mid-September as a part of Notebook LM, a year-old AI-powered research assistant. Notebook LM, which is powered by Google's Gemini 1.5 model, allows people to upload content such as links, videos, PDFs, and text. They can ask the system questions about the content, and it offers short summaries. I heard one of these podcasts, and the scary thing about it is it sounded like banter, like not even banter. It sounded like a real conversation going back and forth. One voice was a woman, one voice was a man, and it also used humor. It is the scariest shit that I've probably ever heard in my life. Because basically it was like this, Keith. It was like, so there's so many neurons. Like people have no idea. And he's like, tell me about it. There are a lot of neurons out there. And there's some of the neurons you can learn about, right? He's like, yeah, when I was a little kid, they called me Neuron Bobby. And they start laughing. I'm like, how the fuck is this happening?
Yeah.
Right in our face. This is scary, man. This is very scary stuff.
Yeah.
So when I heard that podcast, it was like, dude, by the time they reach the complete heights of like AI technology, I don't think me and Keith are going to be here. And it's going to be so fucking scary. By the time me and Keith are like on our way out, they're going to have like full-fledged robot AI walking around.
Yeah.
They're going to have like, instead of OnlyFans, they're going to have full-fledged sex robots.
Yeah.
By that time, no bullshit.
Man.
It may sound funny to y'all, but by that time, they're going to have full-fledged AI sex bots that look like regular women, but all they're programmed to do is just have sex.
Yeah. It's like, that's going to be a sad day because I'm going to be my stuff might not work when that technology, because we just jack off like regularly, like normal 2024 living beings. But 15 years from now,
It could be different.
yeah, the whole masturbation is going to be different.
It's going to be different. Probably be eradicated.
Yeah.
As long as you got Google Jack, you good.
Google Jack is going to be crazy.
Google Jack off.
That's crazy.
I was like, my name is Emily.
Yeah.
And he was like, nah, I want a black one.
Yeah,
I'm
especially
Shanika.
especially with the with the Google, the little not Google, but the
Oculus?
the Quest, yeah, or what is it called, Meta Quest or something like that.
I know of Oculus Rift.
Yeah, it's the Facebook, whatever Facebook's version of that.
Oh,
is.
Meta?
Yeah, they got their little glasses or their
This is
3D.
going to be beyond that, though. Like, that's going to be primitive. Like the whole Oculus or that Meta, that's going to be primitive. We're talking about they're going to find a way to actually have a robot that is so fluid, like the fluidity of the robot is just probably going to be maybe a few scratches off of like a human.
real. But they're
Yeah.
already. I mean, they already have the textures and stuff down. Like you
Right.
could buy the torso.
Right.
Or you could buy the little pocket vagina thing. Yeah. So all they're doing now is like,
You put a skeleton under it, it's over.
right. Yeah. And something that has like natural movements and stuff like that. Yeah. That's going to be crazy.
What'll be crazy is like you guys think that this is just like a perverse conversation, but outside of the sex robot conversation, there is actual like validity to what we're saying because they, like as far as the texture stuff that he's talking about, like that's real. There are like they've made these sex dolls that look like real people already, and they have AI. So if you match the sex doll's texture and the AI as the voice, in addition to finding a way to find a very a skeletal or a mechanical body part that's moving fluid, you're going to have like robots walking around.
Yeah. Because I mean, you know how entertainment tends to lead technology. So we have those movies where people are falling in love, with Joaquin Phoenix with the movie Her. He fell in love with, it was just a voice. It wasn't even, it wasn't even a physical being. It was just a voice. So I can see that. I can definitely see that happening. And especially because it's hard for some people to have actual real relationships with women. It's people that are really struggling out here. So I could imagine somebody that's just like, I'm gonna just get me a Ashley 3000, and then just keep her at the crib, and you could curate your relationship to however you want. So yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
Soon come. I'm gonna invest in that.
Yeah, man. We need to vet in a Google sex bot and do that probably about 15 years ahead. So if I am not around to get my sex bot, I will donate it to my next of kin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the waiting list to go outer space, they need the waiting list for that.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
You be on your deathbed, and all of a sudden the sex bot's like, "I'm here to perform duties on you." You'd be like, "I'm dying. It's okay. You don't have to do this."
Yeah, they should do. I mean, they can have the male one too. That'd be crazy.
These women will be like, "I don't need no man. I got Tyrone 2.0. I do not need no man.
Yeah.
I don't need no man. I got Tyrone 2.0.
Yeah.
I got Chad 7.6.
Yeah.
I already downloaded the latest iOS update.
Yeah.
I just got the Jackhammer 7.5.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. You think it's bad now with these women and these toys they got? They're gonna have a rose that's just like, it's just gonna be one big rose. It's not even gonna be a robot or nothing.
Yeah. It's gonna be Derrick Rose. 6'3" athletic nigga just blowing your brains out.
Crazy, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Derrick Rose. He just retired.
Everything
recently.
evolves, man.
Yeah.
Everything evolves. By if we get to like 2065, by then the whole rose toys and all that's not gonna work anymore.
Right.
Women are gonna be full-fledged just electrocuting their vagina.
What?
by then.
What were? I would be curious about the transformation of like sex toys, just to see how much progress we have made and where it potentially could go if this is like a real thing. Because we, in general, the sex toys have not made much progress, but I do think these not living and breathing, but just these lifelike torsos and booties and stuff that you see.
That's crazy.
With the little vagina inserts, like that's fairly new, because they used to, back in the day, they used to just have the little blow up doll. You remember that? Like it just you just to blow it up. But now they got like the I don't know what they would. I forget the term that they use, but basically like anatomically similar to.
They call them, I think, real dolls. They call them.
That's what they call.
I think they call them that.
Yeah, dang.
So I think that what's going to happen is for people that are like overly promiscuous or something, or the like sexual deviant people, they're going to have these dolls so they cannot like, so there'll be less of a like. I think it's going to be the way to bring families back.
Why you say that?
Because like people are going to be able to use those dolls in instead of just like impregnating random people. So maybe I'm ahead of myself on that conversation.
I mean, I think it would prevent cheating.
Yeah, probably
just be like sifting through the closet, like,
Women ain't gonna be cool with that. If you fucking a robot, they'll still be mad.
Yeah.
What does she have that I don't have? That's a fake woman you cheat on me with. You be like, it felt real. I'm done. I'm tired of you cheating on me with Tonisha 7.5. You've been cheating on me this whole fucking time with this goddamn robot. I am out of here.
Yeah, I can't see that. I can't see that happening.
Yeah, women are not going to allow you to do anything outside of them. They will lose their mind. All right, let's switch gears because we stopped talking about the longshoreman quite a while ago. Switching gears, Impact Plastics. Recently, a company called Impact Plastics was affected by Hurricane Helene, and it is very fucked up what happened here. Factory workers clung desperately to a truck before Helene floodwaters swept them away. A group of employees from Irwin's Impact Plastics clung to spools of flexible yellow plastic pipes on the back of a semi-truck for hours, September 27th, waiting for help as the swollen Nullatucky River raged around them, but the truck flipped over and at least 7 people were swept away by the floodwaters. At least one woman in the group died, according to the immigrants' rights groups that has been working with families of some of the employees who worked there. And the company confirmed the death of one other person, but did not give details about their identity. Let me explain something, man. Basically, what happened is Hurricane Helene was on its way. And they basically intimidated a bunch of immigrants that are not just immigrants, or migrant workers, to be more specific, and told them, hey, if you leave, you'll be fired. And they made them work through a motherfucking flash flood. They said, hey, you can't leave. And they said, and then they also said, you can't leave until the water gets waist deep, which is the most disgusting thing I've heard. Like, You've got these people that just want to provide for their family, and you're intimidating them into working in conditions that are not safe for anybody. So by the time the water started rising, they told the employees finally, hey, all right, go move your car. They didn't even tell them they could go home. And before they said, hey, you could go home, the water was up to their fucking neck. And they were dead. And there was a man that was there that was not a migrant worker, but he was an employee. He said, they made us work in a hurricane. And a bunch of people died, and that company is about to get sued for everything it's worth. That to me is the most disgusting form of capitalism. I feel like capitalism is not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing. I think capitalism is good when you're not hurting people. But the moment you're oppressing and hurting people, that's when capitalism turns into pure evil. There's no reason why people should be working in those fucking conditions, man. There's no reason. And I want everybody listening to know this. If you're being threatened, or your job is being threatened because you can't perform a duty that you don't feel safe doing at all, or it may potentially affect those around you in a negative way, you are better off following your heart and saying, hey, if I'm going to be fired, then I'll be fired, but I don't want to die.
Right.
You know, if all of those migrant workers that died, if they could do it all over again, they would go home so they could be with their family. Yeah. But they died for their family, bro. That shit just breaks my heart. Yeah. You know, I can't believe that they would put them in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing about some of these employers and some of these companies, and a lot of the pressures from the top down.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, that person that was doing it, you know, who knows? You know, I'm speculating, but I would imagine the manager that came in and was like, hey, you guys don't stop working, is probably the pressure that came down from their management, and then from, you know, the regional person, and then from the owners, like, you know. So I just think that you're 100% right, though. When it comes to your livelihood and your life, it's like you got to take care of yourself, because the owners of these companies, they're not going to do it for you, right? So they may say, you know, certain things. A lot of that stuff is lip service. Like, I know, you know, Eddie was just telling me stories about when he has to, take care of himself on his job. And
Absolutely.
same thing for me. Like there's nobody out there that's going to come by and say, how's your mental health doing? You gotta be able to check on that yourself, or even your physical health. Like, are you tired? Do you need a day off or whatever? Like, nobody's going to, volunteer you take a day off. You got to go and do that yourself in these situations. So I just think that, whatever job, like, especially that's the thing that sucks about, where we're talking about, these type of jobs, like these factory jobs compared to working at a port or something like that. When you have those unions, there's a luxury that comes with that, because that would not fly. And a lot of people that are in these unions and these union reps, they know all the laws, and they know that they would, it would get ugly, if that were to happen. It's going to get ugly now, because that's just illegal. Like, you can't you can't kill your workers, because they can't, they're working in unsafe conditions. But yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah, my heart goes out to those people, because I believe that they were trying to do the right thing, that they were probably afraid that they were going to lose their job, and they want to provide for their family. And, who knows what the home life looks like, whether it's like we're barely getting by, or, my contribution to this household is that important, or I got a kid in college, whatever the case may be. And now they can't provide it all. But they gonna get sued, they gonna sue the bricks off of them.
I think the ultimate thing though is what sucks is when, if it's not in writing. A lot of times when these things go to court, there has to be multiple witnesses, or it needs to be in writing in order for them to like say, because they're denying it. They're saying that they didn't tell their workers that, but everybody that is still alive from that flood is saying they absolutely told the workers that they would be fired.
Why would they be there? I think anybody in their right mind would try to leave if that was
absolutely.
the case.
Nobody is fighting to stay in a storm. Also, your company did not take the proper precaution.
Regardless of whether they told them to leave or not, just the fact that they died on the job. If you get hurt on the job, they got workman's comp and stuff like that. But if you die, it's definitely is going. But they have to say that, right? Because I'm sure that their lawyer told them, do not admit that you're guilty, because we're going to go to court, and we're going to have our day in court. But we already know what this is going to look like. Yeah, they're going to pull all the witnesses in. I'm sure they have camera footage and stuff that they're going to pull from, and see those conversations being had on the floor. So good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that. Also, I think that this is not like a new thing where they've taken advantage of like migrant workers. There's a movie called Fast Food Nation. It's got like Bruce Willis and Wilmer Valderrama and all these other people in the movie. And basically, it's like a big meat packing plant where they hire a bunch of migrant workers that happen to be Mexican. And what it is, they hire them on, and they show them like a safety video that's completely in English only, right? And then just send them out to the floor to work. And there was one part of the movie where this guy was working, and he fell into like a meat grinder, and it like cut his arm all up and stuff. And then they lied and said that the dude was on methamphetamine, and he got fired. So it's crazy how some of these stories really happen.
Yeah.
And this is no different. Just somebody exploiting someone. And if you're a supervisor or whatever you are at that job, I don't see how you could just be okay with doing that. That blood's on your hand. So I don't get it. But man, I pray for the families involved in that, and hopefully they can come to terms and get that money. But fuck the money, you can't bring the people back. The people gone.
Yeah, but I always look at money as like the only thing you can do to cause any sort of damage,
disruption.
Because I was talking to I recently had a cousin that passed away, and they got misdiagnosed about a certain ailment, and they were saying like, oh, we don't want to go through the legal process because it's going to take a long time, and it just reminds us of whatever. But my thought process was like, you're not necessarily doing it to get rich or whatever. You're doing it so that person doesn't do that again.
Absolutely.
So that's the way that I look at these situations. Like, sue these companies so that it's a reminder for them. And generally what happens is they put things in place so that it doesn't happen again. But, that's the only corrective thing that you can do from being the small man in that situation.
Yeah, there's other people who are held accountable that aren't even like the head of things. Like registered nurses could have their license taken away. There was a story of a woman that was a RN and she had like 5 or 6 people under her care, like an overnight shift, and one of the like people got out and went out into the street, almost got hit by a car. Mm-hmm. And because when they ran the film back from when the patient left the room, she was on her phone.
Oof.
And that patient went out into the fucking street and almost got hit by a car. Police was like, "Where are you from? Like, what's going on?" And then they seen that girl, and that girl lost her license.
Yeah.
It's like, man, so
put the phone away. It ain't worth it.
It ain't worth it. But somebody's going to be held accountable, regardless of who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and move on, man. Switching gears. FEMA. Kamala got on there and offered $750 to Hurricane Helene relief money, rumored addressed by agency. All right, so let me click on the article there. In an online post, FEMA addressed rumors that the only relief money being made available for victims of Hurricane Helene was a single payment of $750. This is false, end quote. The Federal Emergency Management Agency said on its website Thursday. The agency said its serious needs assistance program, which provides $750 to cover essential items such as food, water, baby formula, and other emergency needs, is often approved swiftly after application. However, they said additional forms of assistance may be also be available after applying for disaster aid. As an application undergoes review, additional funds may be provided to help for temporary housing and home repairs, they said. Okay, here's the issue, though. There are a bunch of people, and this is why I like to cross-reference news and stories. I like to see the people with their boots on the ground. Those people with their boots on the ground are stating they are not getting their funds. There's a girl that had to drive hours outside of where she was affected. She lost everything. Her and her sister were staying at a hotel, and it was an expensive hotel, and they got denied. They got denied that $750 aid. So it's not as swift as people think, right? So there's a lot of people that are not even getting food. A lot of people are still trapped. Like they said that this shit is worse than Katrina. Mm-hmm. That's what people don't understand. I think this is a different time where we're so distracted by everything. When Katrina happened, we didn't have social media yet. So the whole country at least was zoomed in on Hurricane Katrina. Mm-hmm. I think back then our attention spans were a lot different, because we were able to zoom in on problems that were affecting people without looking at 19 other things. Yeah. Like right now, we see the Hurricane Helene, but Diddy is going on, and this reality show is going on, and this rapper said this, and this song came out, and it's just a bunch of shit and a bunch of distractions, and it's taken away what's happening right here in this country. And what's happening right here is people who have lost everything can't get anything. It's not fucking right. We're sending out boatloads of money to Ukraine, right? Them motherfuckers ain't sending us no money back here. Mm-hmm. I don't want to sound insensitive, but all this aid that we're giving other people, them motherfuckers don't do that for us. Do they think Americans, we just got it all figured out? We do not. We don't. So after a person here in America that is paying taxes and insurance and car insurance and car payments, and they lose everything, even their pets. People's pets have been dying in floods and drowning, and they've lost everything. You can't even give them $750. There's a fucking problem. There is a problem. And I think that the American people are being pimped. We're all being pimped, and we're just a bitch in their game. They get us all year long for taxes. These motherfuckers get us for insurance. They get us for this. They get us for mortgages. They get us for rent. They get us for everything. We're paying for so much shit, but when it comes time for us to get money, they give us nothing. How many times does this government have to prove, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, they don't give a fuck about you? None of them. None of them. That's why there's two parties, divide and conquer. And I don't want to sound conspiratorial, but if everybody thought in the best interest of this country, it wouldn't be Democrats and Republicans. It would be one fucking government. They give us the illusion of choice. It's just an illusion. We got an election coming up, but what's funny is we got people dying and drowning. And I'm supposed to give a fuck about your vote? I don't give a fuck about you, man. I lost my dog. I can't find my cousin. I lost my house that I've been paying on for fucking 25 years. It's gone now. And some of these people don't even got the right coverage to cover their home. Do you know how it feels? I don't know how it feels, but can you imagine how it feels to be paying on a house for 25 years and it's floating down the fucking river? Mm-hmm. This one dude said, my house. That shit was floating down the goddamn river. His whole house.
Yeah.
Gone. I don't think people understand the magnitude of what's happening when it comes to this fucking flood, man. It's bad. Mm-hmm. It is bad. And a woman was on the news. She spoke about the death toll and how it's being extremely underestimated or undercounted by, the news. If you're not familiar with the reefer truck, it's just a dry van. Like imagine an 18-wheeler with the big box trailer. But they said that they have a reefer truck to put that has a big, it's just a refrigerated truck. Mm-hmm. And it is filled from the top to the bottom full of dead bodies. And they said they had 5 trucks full of dead bodies. From the front of that trailer to the back of it, it was all dead bodies. Mm-hmm. And then another dude said that when he was going to try to give aid, he was being turned away. Basically, there was like a government agency or whatever telling him like, you can't go in there. Mm-hmm. Like you can't do that. There was a dude that took his own helicopter to save people, and they turned him away. They said, you cannot do that. You will be arrested if you go back and go out there again. Mm-hmm. So all the planes that they were seeing were not government planes. It was just regular folk trying to help. Mm-hmm. So this is, I don't know, man. This is a really strange time.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, man, and it makes me sad. And I'll say this because I don't want to ramble too much. But when it comes to like donating to these places, they say, please, if you can't donate to the Red Cross and donate here and donate there. No. When I go to Panda or I go anywhere, I do not donate anything because why the fuck are you guys getting a cut of what I donate? What did you do? Like, what did you do so great that you get a cut of the money that I'm trying to donate to a cause? That doesn't make any sense. It's just greed all over the board. It's capitalism is one thing, but this shit is disgusting. If I'm donating to a children's cancer foundation and you take 10% of my cut, why? Why can't 100% of it go to the fucking kids? Are we that sick in America over money to where we want to take money from people who really fucking need it? That's terrible, man. It is terrible. But yeah. There's that.
I think that what I would say is I think when it comes to these government funded things, and they obviously denied the 750, but I think that I remember during COVID, there was a lot of conversations around the Black community and minorities and how a lot of these big corporations like PayPal and Bank of America and all these companies wanted to support Black businesses and all these things. And there was even a thing where, and I'm not trying to bash her because I don't want it to come off like this, but there was a grant that Beyonce, was under her name, and I don't know if she had any role in it, whatever, but there was a grant under her name where she was they were saying that they were offering like $10,000 or something like that to small businesses and economic relief and stuff like that. So there were so many of these things that or these grants and loans and all these things that had came out, and most of them you don't hear anything about it after the initial press release. Like you don't hear if you got it, you don't hear if you didn't get it. You just see these people come out with these statements, these grandiose statements like we're trying to hire more Black people and we're trying to support Black businesses and Black small business owners and all these things, but you just never hear anything afterwards. So I think a lot of this stuff is just lip service, and just kind of relating it back to this. I think that these government officials and everything, they just wanted to come out and put some sort of information out that they are trying to do their best when it comes to relieving or helping these people out, but I don't think they really ever had a plan. I don't think anybody really has a plan when it comes to these hurricanes. And the crazy part about it is they happen so frequently, and there's no real support for these people. And like you said, we spend so much of our own money on taxes, being taxed for the government not doing anything. Like, we pay a lot of money for vehicle registrations. You know, the same house that was floating down the river I'm almost positive there was some sort of property taxes that he was paying on. So everybody, as far as the government, has their hand out, and you know, there's certain salaries and stuff that have to be paid, but at the same time, it's like when it comes to, like, I think the government should operate like a really well ran church. You know, like you pay your tithes, all these things, and then when it comes time for the church to give back, whether it's like a toy drive for the kids, or helping kids with school supplies, or hosting a funeral, or all these things, like, you know, that like the church like a good church in the community does, that's how it should be. But when it comes to this type of thing, we see far too often where people are, you know, even they're like transplanted people from Hurricane Katrina that just had to up and leave and start their life over from nothing.
Oh yeah.
You know, without any sort of help from the government. So yeah, it's crazy. And like I said, my only relation to that is like the things that they were saying about COVID, you know, these economic relief packages and stuff like that. And obviously they had PPP and you know, those different loans, but I'm talking about these other companies that was coming out and saying that they were doing things. I didn't see nothing. Yeah. I didn't see no results from any of those conversations.
Not at all. When it comes down to it, these companies and our government, they're not charitable at all. We've paid enough in taxes as a country for where if a small part of the country is affected by something, they've got the fucking money.
And even if they don't got the money, they can just print it, because that's what they do anyways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the amount of greed that exists within our government is disgusting. And the amount of bad behavior that exists within our government is disgusting.
And sorry to cut you off, but we had the conversation with Gavin Newsom, where he was apologizing for slavery and California's role in slavery, all that nonsense. And then on the same token, he denied a reparations bill, you know, in that same, it was like almost like the same day. And the reason behind it was basically they didn't have the funds allocated or a plan for the funds to be allocated. But it's like, dog, like, it's like you just, all it is put, like, it's a puzzle. You're just moving money around. That's, you know, it's like, it's not real money. It's just like money that you receive from people that work hard every day, and you taking 15, 20% of their salaries. You know, people that are, you know, trying to buy cars, you know what I mean? They spending their hard-earned money on cars, and they're getting taxed. You know, it's like businesses, small businesses, they're getting taxed on, you know, every product and everything that they sell. So it's just like, these are all the hardworking American people that are what I would say being taken advantage of, and then there's no reciprocity.
Absolutely. American people are being taken advantage of, but when you talk about black people are Americans. And not only from, we could just go past slavery. The biggest case for reparations amongst black people it's not even just slavery. It's the intentional suppression of wealth that happened in the black community. So we're talking about redlining. Redlining was just community planning that zoned out black people who were more likely or equally as likely to pay their mortgage on time with equally good credit and everything, and you kept them in those areas on purpose. The suburbs were created in order to allow white Americans to live on the outskirts away from black people. People don't realize the suburbs were created for white people. So if you go to any place that's predominantly white and you're like, well, I don't have any black neighbors, that's because that's the fucking government that started that. And people say, well, that happened so long ago. No, it didn't. The first, like, what's the girl? I forgot her name. The black woman that she just celebrated her like only 70th birthday, and she was the first like black girl integrated into like a white school. What's her name?
I don't know.
I can't remember her name, but I'll find it. But she's only in her 70s, and
that's young.
That's very young for that to be. So this shit is all new. It's not like it's fucking old. If you don't believe me, look up the term white flight in Google. It'll tell you what that means. Black soldiers that fought for this country were not able to use their GI Bill. so they couldn't use it for housing and education just like a white soldier could. So like when they say they don't have the money to give black people reparations, I'm not looking for a handout. We're just looking for what we're fucking owed. Japanese got paid for being put in internment camps. Jewish people got paid reparations from the Germans. Like, reparations is nothing new. It's not like it's exclusively black people. If you actually open a fucking book, you would learn that reparations is not new at all. And anyone who had any level of oppression in their history was giving, even the reservations with Native Americans. There's always been a form of reparations given to everyone else except for black people. It is absolutely disgusting. That's why I don't care much what the Democrats got to say. I don't care about either party. But especially the Democrats, all they do is pop up every year and pander to black people like, whoop-de-doo, I'm Joe Biden, I'm Kamala Harris. Oh, look, reparations. Wait a minute. Oh, you moved too slow. Wait a minute. Oh, here you go. Here's what. Well, let me take the reparations back. It's like, look, y'all bullshitting, man. Where's the fucking money? Where is it? You give all this money to Ukraine, to motherfuckers we don't know that don't care about us. You get the money to Israel, Ukraine, all these people, and you can't pay black people who represent 13% of your country that built this fucking country? Are you stupid? Come on, man. Cut it out. Cotton was not $1 million. It was $1 billion industry with a B in the 1800s. Like, come on, man. Like, dude, it is insane. This government doesn't care about people in general. But it is a downright just catastrophe of what black people, and when I see black people like, we're going to be fighting for reparations, it's like, man, I give up. But if I'm being blunt, because I understand history and I understand the context of what that means, I guess they're saying like, we don't know if these people are descendants of slaves or not. We can't just be handing out checks. Yes, you can, nigga. Give me mines. I'll take it. Give me mines. I don't even have a real name. Black people don't even have real names. We took on the names of our slave masters. Black people do not have cultural names. If we did, it would be more like a Nigerian sounding last name. Mm-hmm. But we have the last names of people that owned us. Is that not enough fucking reason to give us our money? Mm-hmm. Like, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's insane that people, first of all, it's insane that people don't know this. Mm-hmm. That's the wild thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But to get back to the overall subject, man, everybody's getting fucked. I'm not just going to sit here and make it like only black people are the ones being oppressed. Everyone is. Everyone is. And you learn that you're really being oppressed in moments where you really need help. When you lose everything and your government says, here, we got $750 for you. That's all we got. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Vote for me.
Yeah.
It's like, nigga, what? What? Nah. Mm-hmm. Nah. That is not sufficient, man. But we'll have to move on, man, because I'll just be rambling again.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Keith agreed. He said I'm rambling too much. What a fucking co-host he is. All right. Switching gears. An American bomb from World War II explodes at a Japanese airport, leaving a crater in the taxiway. I don't think you guys realize how significant this is. This bomb was dropped in World War II. 8 decades ago. So this is an 80-year-old bomb that was just chilling underground like, oh, fuck. And it exploded, right?
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So imagine something being underground for 80 years, no one knows it, and it explodes. Mm-hmm. That's how fucking sinister America was, man. We went down there and we said, hey, fuck y'all. We about to bomb some shit. All right. Tokyo, an unexploded U.S. bomb from World War II that had been buried at a Japanese airport exploded Wednesday, causing a large crater in the taxiway and the cancellation of more than 80 flights. Japanese officials said no one was hurt and there was no aircraft nearby when the bomb exploded at Masayaki Airport in southwestern Japan. Land and Transport Ministry official says an investigation by self-defense forces and police confirmed that the explosion was caused by a 500-pound U.S. bomb, and there was no further danger. Officials were determined what caused its sudden detonation. Now, here's the scary part that's not mentioned in this article, but there is a undisclosed amount of other U.S. bombs that were dropped, and they have also not exploded. So we might be getting back at Japan 80 years later. Can you imagine how fucked up that is?
Yeah.
That's how wild we was, bro. We was wild, bro. And that whole and the nuclear bomb that we dropped on them in Hiroshima, that was a legit war crime, dude. We fucking vaporized people. It wasn't even like hey, you got us, we getting you back. We said, oh, you got us, we got you for many years, because that nuclear weapon affected them for many years. They had a lot of children born with deformities, missing fingers and shit like that because of that, all that nuclear power. But what's crazy is they showed a video, or not a video. Basically, when the bomb hit, it didn't leave behind blood and bones. It vaporized people. People got burnt up so bad by that bomb, if they was walking next to a wall, their shadow got burnt into the wall. Like that. And we talking about, that was 80 years ago we did that. They said we got the power of like 250 of those now.
God dang.
So think about how sinister that is. If you got 250 times more power than that, that means the whole world get vaporized. Why would you want that type of power? Why are we playing God?
Yeah.
Man, all I'll tell you is this. If that was to happen, right? If that was to happen and we got vaporized, my only hope after that is whatever civilization came and took over, I pray that they did a better job than we did. And I hope that they could create a better world for people that's, based in peace. And they could find relics and things of our past to avoid. They, after they start finding all of the, if, not an archaeologist, but I don't know what they would call it. Maybe some alien life comes down and they're like, whatever our archaeologists were, that's what they were. They're looking for different things, and they start seeing BBLs that got, burnt up, and they still see lip injections and stuff. They're like, so this apparently, this was a Instagram thought. That's what they called them. You can see by the hieroglyphics that are on these objects. I guess they were called iPhones. And this post basically states that they had an OnlyFans. So it's like, instead of hieroglyphics, they're going to be using our phones as actual sources of information.
That was comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I think when it comes to these bombs, I was telling Eddie earlier, there's like these, it's called White Sands. It's in New Mexico, and it's the place where they filmed Transformers. I think it was part 2, the one with Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox, and so they filmed like one of the scenes out there, and it's a place where the military goes out and they test bombs, because nobody lives out there. It's just a vast land of just white sand, and they go out there and they test bombs and stuff like that. And they were saying that, I think Michael Bay did an interview, and he was talking about how kind of nervous he was, because they may have they scan the area for what are those things called that you step on and they blow up?
Landmines?
Yeah, landmines. They scanned the area for landmines, and everything was good. But they were saying like, "Yo, this is an active military, site. So it's possible that somebody could just step on something and then they just get blown up."
People underestimate how efficient old military weapons were. There could be a landmine that's been chilling there for 81 years, and you think like, "Oh, it's fine." Boom.
Yeah, you be gone.
You done, bro. You are done. There's all kind of, bro. It's you know what? And I'm talking out of my ass, but maybe somewhere in Vietnam there's like active tripwire somewhere. We don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
I would be curious. Did they know? Because like you were, I think you were talking about before the podcast, when you're building a airport, obviously this airport was built after the bombing. So I would be curious to know that they just build on top of it. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't have the answer for it. All I can tell you is normally when you're building like new infrastructure, you dig deep enough to create new foundation. You dig up the old dirt, and then you bring some new fresh dirt down, and then you start putting cement and stuff like that. But I don't know how far that bomb went, first of all. And
Yeah.
anything that's weighing in upwards of 500 to 800 pounds, how far can it penetrate beneath the earth before, you don't see it?
Yeah,
And,
that's what I would be curious.
and also, like, in feet, like, I wonder how many feet it went down. And how aerodynamic was the bomb?
Yeah.
Because that also plays a role into, it cutting the air. So if it's aerodynamic, I don't know how they dropped it. I don't know if they dropped it. You know how they drop it belly-wise?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they did that.
Yeah.
I don't know how they dropped it. If they dropped it where it came straight down. And if it didn't explode, I don't know why.
Right? That's weird. Yeah.
That's
That's
crazy.
They shooting blanks out there.
Yeah, the only way they kill Japanese with that bomb is if it fell on a Japanese person. Besides that,
That's a trash way to go out. To get crushed by a bomb instead of blown up.
yeah, that'd be fucked up. You went through all that. You killed all them Americans and got hit by a bomb. That's fucked up.
Yeah. But no, that's weird. Because if you look at the video, it's like on the road.
Yeah.
Like the road probably where the plane is going for the little launching area. So yeah, I imagine those, when they're building those roads, they're not digging, too deep in that sense. So who knows, like how that even happened? But yeah.
Yeah, the thing about the Japanese though, that they was different though, dog. Like what was between us and Japan, we was both pretty ruthless. Because you think about it, they had kamikazes.
Mm-hmm.
So that they would pull a kamikaze where either they got hit or they knew they could inflict more injury on us by running those planes right into the ship. So they just start boom,
Somebody just sacrificed their life.
sacrificing their life. Just kamikaze mission. It was a mission where it was like, I'm not coming back, and I signed up for it, and I know I'm finna die. Do you know how crazy that is?
Yeah.
For your government, like, to be like, okay, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's like your plan. Like, I'm gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Whoo, man.
Yeah.
Times was different.
Man.
Times was different. Cause boy, ain't no way I'm dying for this country. No.
Yeah. I mean, if there was like a war type of thing, I think that's a little different than just like literally commit suicide.
What do you mean?
I'm saying like you can die for this country if you got drafted and then you go to Afghanistan and you die over there. But it's different than like literally I'm driving this jet straight into ship building,
yeah.
whatever. Like that's a different level of commitment.
Yeah, that's wild. Absolutely. But I think if any government tried to penetrate America, I think they would be fucked. Because I think we live in a country that we have enough like civilians that are armed to fuck them up.
Yeah.
I really do. Imagine if like, I don't know, I won't say the Japanese, but let's say who are we? China, right? We not on the greatest terms with China. If China somehow sent enough troops down to LA, man, it'd be every gang fucking them up. It'd be Bloods, Crips.
I think so, and I think not also, because a lot of like these gang guys, they're not
organized.
Yeah, just like you come in, like a military is different, because you got to think the way that we moved in on certain places. Like if you ever see these like military movies where it's only like 6 dudes and they trying to capture Bin Laden, or you know what I mean? Like it's a small group of people and they going in there. They're very tactical and they're very well trained and they just knocking niggas off. Like
they are.
Yeah.
But see, here's the difference though, and you are 100% right. But the amount of veterans that we have living in America is also gonna cut that back.
Yeah.
We got a lot of veterans that served in Iraq
ex-military
that they
guys.
like, okay, motherfucker, you made it here. All right, you done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you done for.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. It's probably some dude you go to the gym with. You don't know that he served, you went through 4 or 5 tours in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And he just that quiet guy that lift weights, but he got a bazooka at his house.
Yeah.
Hey, this dude that I work with got busted with a bazooka, bro. I told you about that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but this little dude, he looked like he was white, but he was Mexican. But I think his name was John.
Yeah.
He ended up getting busted on like a big serious case. He had, when they busted him, he had 3 grenades and his car was full of ammunition. And I remember he used to drive a Lincoln Town car to work, and the back springs were always like low, like really fucked up. But that's because that's how much artillery he had in the back seat.
Did he have a?
He got busted trying to buy grenades. It was on the news. Fuck, I gotta find his name. But he got busted, and it was on the news. It was an undercover agent that was trying to was acting like he was selling him grenades, and that's how he got busted. This is like 2014.
Dang. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did they catch a intention behind, or is he just crazy?
I don't know what the intention was. I know that he got bullied a lot back in high school.
Yeah, he was going. Yeah, he might have tried to blow up something.
Me and him was always cool. But he used to carry like this little backpack he used to drag down the street. Like, you know, when you at the airport, you got that backpack with the wheels on it. Mm-hmm. And people used to rush him like, "Nigga, you going to the airport?"
So you mean in school they would say that?
Oh yeah, back in school. Yeah, they used to do that and crack jokes.
The little rolly backpack. Hey, the rolly backpacks was, I mean, they weren't cool, but they was popular.
Yeah, but when you get made fun of like that, you know, it's never fun.
Yeah.
But even when we worked at that call center, it didn't seem to be like he was too crazy. But I'm glad they got him, because one day he could have came out there just blazing.
Man.
I'd have been like, "Hey, man, don't shoot me. I've always been nice to you, man.
Right.
You want a soda, man?" That's how you stop mass shooters. Do you want a soda, man? Let's talk about it, man. Take this root beer. Yeah, and when he's not looking, just put a little poison in it.
That's crazy.
All right, man. I don't got much else on this. I just hope that that we don't how to put it. We don't reenact these behaviors, or, you know, dropping bombs on people and they blowing up that long.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the last thing. Sorry about that, folks. I know some of you guys are ready to not listen anymore. I think this is why it's important to tell accurate history, because in New York, like they were doing like some construction there in like the middle of New York, not too far from the Twin Towers, and they found some bones, and then they found more bones and more bones of human remains. And they contacted an archaeologist, and the archaeologist determined that this was I won't say ancient, but it was an African burial ground where they buried a bunch of slaves because they could not be buried near white people in the cemetery. And it is a popular African burial ground that is, let me see here. All right, let's see what he says here. For over 200 years, a forgotten cemetery stayed hidden beneath layers of concrete in downtown Manhattan in New York City. But in 1991, archaeologists uncovered the cemetery and found evidence of the lives and deaths of over 8,000 Africans and Americans of African descent. The skeletal remains of 419 individuals were exhumed, examined, and reburied at the site of discovery. Today, the cemetery site is at the African Burial Ground National Monument. African Burial Ground today is the nation's earliest and largest known African cemetery. Mm-hmm. So the reason why that is, obviously, it was very prevalent during slavery. But in addition to that, it was like where they were in New York. That was basically like, you know how they have like the stock market. What do you call that?
Like a trade.
Yeah. What do you call that down? What do you call it? Where is that?
Like Wall Street?
Wall Street. Mm-hmm. It was basically the Wall Street of slavery. Mm-hmm. It's where they did a lot of trading slaves and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And in that area, they buried a lot of them. So the reason why I brought that up is just like the bomb, it's no different. That if you don't tell an accurate depiction, I guess, of history will reveal itself. Mm-hmm. It's going to reveal itself and force you to notice it if you don't notice it, okay? Mm-hmm. Whether that's in the form of bones that are everywhere or in the form of bombs that are literally buried under Japan. Mm-hmm. All right? Well, that's the end of my history lesson.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Keith?
Nope.
Well, we're going to go and get out of here, man. It's really hot. I could use a Gatorade right now. And some head. All right. Well, if you made it to the end of this episode, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to A Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy, Cake Things.
We're out of here.
Peace.